Man, oh man, am I bummed out with the rest of Everton fandom today. That was a pretty disappointing loss to Bournemouth. Um, I'm going to try to just recap the game and sort of keep my thoughts on a sort of a season synopsis or summary. Maybe I'll do that in another video. But this game, just after the back of the last game against Sheffield United, you saw a team that looked very inspired, wanted to prove a point, wanted to show that it could fight and could scrap and get a win. And you would think that with even more time in between games, I think we had 6 days from the last game, which was the most, I think, of any of the games in this restart. You thought we'd come out and say, hey, let's put an exclamation point on the end of this season. We know we had a dip. Let's just say a dip, even though we know it was way more than that. But no, that's not the team that came out. Bournemouth, was fighting for their life. They had to win to, they had to at least win to get any hopes of not being relegated, and they needed some help from Watford and I think Aston Villa, but in the end that didn't help them beating us. But anyway, the way the game started, you could just tell that Bournemouth was there to play. I mean, and that wasn't really a surprise at all. What I wanted to see from Everton was just a level of professionalism that's like, hey, sorry Bournemouth, we know you guys are up against it, but we gotta thump you. And it's hard to say that's what we saw at all at any point in the game. It looked like we just could not match. I don't even want to say Bournemouth's intensity, maybe Bournemouth's desperation. This is the first game I really paid attention to where one of the teams was scrapping for their lives and they might get relegated. I mean, I follow Everton. I don't really watch any other teams. I don't care about other teams really at this point. But I mean, they were fighting for balls and everything. It didn't really look like they were that much better than us, except that they were competing. And it's hard to say we were not competing. It's just that we just did not seem like we wanted to get that second ball or any 50-50 ball in the middle of the pitch. We weren't up for it. It was back to seeing Tom Davies and Gilfie and Gomez run past a guy with the ball or get ran past, and misplaced passes. From the first half, the thing that was annoying me the most was just that we would get all the way up to the final third and make the dumbest pass ever, or do the most asinine thing with the ball where you're like, geez, all that work to get up to the penalty area, and then you do that, and chances are going the other way. And in the end, I mean, I guess it all started with Richarlison's penalty he gave away. I mean, it was a straight up handball, so it was hard to argue. And really, we were just chasing the game from there. Once it was 1-0 Bournemouth, we did show a little bit of quality, and Theo Walcott gets the ball up the pitch, crosses one over, and Keane's just there to tap it in, which was good to see Keane use the last game of the season to show his scoring prowess. I think Keane had a good game overall. Even before he scored, he was looking dangerous. Got to see some of that speed he has, just running straight line after the ball, dusting a dude to get to it, trickery, on the ball, just weaving the ball in between legs, holding players off. And I don't even think that's his game, like sort of holding up and things, but he was doing well with it and sort of maintaining possession, not just getting it taken from him. And felt like there was a couple chances he could have got some more shots off. So he had a good game. But we equalized, but then they score off of, I guess it was a free kick. And then what else? I mean, we come out in the half, we didn't change. It just was more of the same, really. In the end, the whole second half, Bournemouth scored again off of a crap goal from Pickford. And that second goal, maybe Pickford should have. I don't know. I'm not a goalie guru, so I don't really know. I'm still kind of learning goals that he should have versus ones he shouldn't. I'm kind of going with the rule of if he got his hand on it, maybe he should have had it. That's one thing I hear Peds say on Talkie TV, so that's like a baseline for me. That last goal he definitely should have got, and even the penalty kick, he dove the right way, but he didn't get to it. I guess he just dove too late, but whatever. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time bashing Jordan. It just was a very disappointing game, man. We lost both games against Bournemouth this season. That team's getting relegated, and we lost to them twice comfortably. Like I think it was they won by more than one goal last game at Bournemouth. So, man, it's hard to not see ourselves in. Before I get into the doom and gloom, another bright spot was Branthwaite. He playing out to the back and everything is hard for the back line as a whole, I think, still. And especially with Bournemouth, they were pressing the crap out of us. But Branthwaite seemed to not really lose a lot of confidence or be too shook by having to try to play the ball. And I like just seeing him a couple times in the game. He just sloughed guys off. Like, they could have maybe had the edge on him to get to the ball, or they got to the ball at the same time, but he's just sort of like, this is mine. And that's something I'm going to enjoy seeing from him throughout his Everton career. So I hope he just goes from strength to strength, as they say, next season. I probably need to think a little bit more about how I feel about whether he should play next season or not. Not that it's up to me, but just give my opinion. Anyway, that was really the only other bright spot. It was sad to hear that Leighton Baines had decided to retire at the end of the game. I have not been a fan long enough to really enjoy his services with the team, but even when I did start watching, he was one of the guys I knew was one of our rock-solid good players, and it is sad to see him go because, like so many have said, he's one of the people that you just know he cared about the club, that he'd give his all. And even in his later years, when he'd come on, even this season, I never saw him come on and go, oh, Baines was terrible today. And my favorite Baines moment is the Leicester goal. I mean, I haven't been around for a lot of his great moments. I'm sure that pales in comparison to other ones, but the Leicester goal he scored this season, where for that little bit of time it felt like we were going to snatch that game away because we equalized late. I just remember my mouth hanging open like, I can't believe what I just witnessed. Wow. With that, I am sad that he's going to be leaving. I think there's a void. I don't know how much of a leader he was in the club, but that's whenever you lose someone of that caliber in your team, that's a void. There's a huge hole that hopefully Ancelotti can fill. But on to the doom and gloom, man. It's hard not to see us being one of those teams that are scrapping, trying to stay out of the bottom three. And the problem to me is every other team that is in and around us, a lot of those teams you see they're getting better. Like, they're managing their organization as a whole better. And then the team they're putting around or on the pitch seems to be getting better. So I'm talking like Wolves, it's hard to even say they're in and around us. They've leaped over us. They did that last year, so let's not say them. But like Sheffield United, man, they just came up this season, and they were up there challenging for Europe. Were we ever really challenging for Europe? Maybe. Sheffield United, West Ham looks better. They were struggling at the beginning of Project Restart, but they quickly sort of climbed out of that. And it's one of them teams where I'm like, oh man, they may have their heads on a little bit better. I don't know about their ownership and stuff, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not as close to the clubs as people over in England and everything, but Newcastles and the Southamptons and the Brighton Hove, those teams aren't going anywhere. They're not all going to just say, oh, well, now that Watford, Bournemouth, and Norwich are gone, we'll go to the bottom three. We just got to keep Everton up. Man, Everton is on that trajectory. That's like, a lot of things aren't synergized, and there's no synergy on the pitch. There seems to not be a whole lot of synergy in the front office and things. I'll speak on this more later. I guess a lot of the emotion of just how we ended the season is coming out right now. I'm just upset about it. I think we should have smacked Bournemouth around. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but we should have just played them off the pitch just to be like, yeah, we're better than our record. But nah, we chose to say we limped out of the season. I don't know, man. It's been a bizarre season anyway. Coronavirus, all this stuff, Marco Silva. I'll try to summarize later, but yeah, I guess I'd give my man of the match to Moise King. You know, came out, did what he needed to do, scored a goal, made us believe he still has something to offer. And yeah, that's it. I'll put a pin in it right there. Up the toffees.